Hello, this is Mrs. Ward, and I thought I would go through exactly how I want everyone to turn in the 2-1, the 2-2 test. I'm going to call it a test. It's going to be worth 50 points. I'll scale it down. I'll explain that in a minute. But okay, your test this time is only going to have 3 parts. You're going to do a Delta Math part, which you're going to answer the questions on Delta Math. That's going to be one part of your test. You're going to do a question on Flipgrid, just like we did last time. That's the second part of your test. And the third part of the test is you're going to take photos of all your work from parts 1 and 2, and then you're going to upload into the assignment tab at the bottom of this page, which is down here. So let's talk about Delta Math. So when you go to do Delta Math, you are going to have upcoming assignments. You'll see the 2-1 to 2-2 quiz. If you scroll down, you'll see the completed assignments. You will notice that you are missing the homework from 2-1 to 2-2. And I did that on purpose. I hid that because these questions come from the same pool. So some of you may end up having the same questions that you had for homework. Some of you probably will not. So when you have this, you're going to click on the problems and you're going to show me the work. And so by showing the work, like this is one example, one of the questions that you'll get. And this is the first question that I clicked on. So on a separate sheet of paper, I'm going to write the number 1 because it's the first problem that I'm doing. And then I am going to show what work that I can. So here it's asking me to plot a line segment, and there's more to this problem on Delta Math. So I'm going to have f of -6. I'm going to find that y value, whatever that y value happens to be. I'm just going to call that y sub 1. And then I'm going to do f of -1, and I'm going to have that y value, which I'm going to call y2. It wants me to find the average rate of change, which is a nice fancy way of finding the slope of the secant line. So I am going to take y2 minus y1 over -1 minus 6, and I'm going to get an answer. And and then I'm going to put my answer in Delta Math. But this is the work that I'm submitting on a piece of paper. This work is going to be neat, it's going to be organized, and it's going to have a number attached to it. I'm going to write down a basic gist of what the problem is so that my teacher knows what problem I got. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. The next part of the test will be on Flipgrid. So you're going to click whatever block you have. You're going to find your Flipgrid number. So we're going to pick on Jobin. Jobin is in block 5. He is problem number 7. So when he goes back to the Flipgrid questions, he is just going to focus on question number 7. And he's going to do the work for number 7, which is right here. The directions say use the definition of derivatives to find the derivative of each function. This is using the definition, which means it's using the limit as delta x approaches 0 of f of x plus delta x. So just to be crystal clear on what we're doing, I made a Flipgrid, and I'm going to bore you and show it to you now. And this is what your Flipgrid should look like. Oh, this is Mrs. Ward, and I'm just going to explain to you how I want you to see your Flipgrids. I apologize, my phone is broken, so the camera's bad, but whoopsie. Hold on a second. Forgot that I did that. Will speed me up a little bit, but not that much. This is what I want. So you're going to go to the questions, and you're going to find your question. You're going to go to your problem set, and you're going to pick the number, and then you're going to show your work. And I don't want you to do your work before you record. I want you to do the work as you record. So the first time you do this problem should not be the time that you record. You're going to have to probably practice once to make sure that you can get it done within 5 minutes. I just randomly made up a problem because I didn't want to do one problem for one set of people and not for the other, because I didn't think that would really be fair. So I wrote down my problem, and now I am going to flip the camera, and that's my problem. I wonder if I can. Okay, so I learned how to flip my camera. Good for me. So this is the problem, and then this one, it says the directions say use the definition of a derivative to find the derivative of the function. So this isn't using the power rules that you learned in section 2.2. This is doing the limit definition that you learned in section 2.1. So there's my equation. Remember, to find the derivative, you're going to take the limits, and you can either use delta x or h as delta x approaches 0, and then you're doing the f of x plus h minus f of x all over delta x, and then you're going to substitute in. So I'm still going to write the limit as delta x approaches 0, and then I would have 2 times x plus h, well, I have h and delta x, oopsie, delta x squared plus 3 times x plus delta x plus 5, then minus f of x, which is 2x squared plus 3x plus 5, and this is all over delta x. Now I'm going to distribute my 2 as I square this. So this is going to be 2x squared plus 4x delta x plus 2 delta x squared plus 3x plus 3 delta x plus 5, then minus 2x squared minus 3x minus 5. And this is all over delta x. The 2x squareds will equal 0. The 3x's will equal 0. And the 5's will equal 0. Remember, everything over here should simplify to 0. If not, you made a mistake. All right, so now I'm taking the limits as delta x approaches 0. I'm left with everything that's left has a delta x in here, so I'm going to factor out a delta x. I'm going to have 4x plus 2 delta x, because 1 squared, I can factor 1 out, plus 3 all over delta x. Now the delta x's will simplify. And once this delta x in the denominator simplifies, it's okay for me to put 0 in. So I'm going to take the limit as delta x approaches 0. And I'm going to have 4x plus 2 delta x is 0 plus 3. And so I'm going to be left with 4x plus 3. So my derivative is going to be 4x plus 3. And that's my work that I talked through as I did it. I still have a minute and a half, and I talked a lot at the beginning. So you should have more than enough time to do this. And that's what your Flipgrid will look like. Just a fun fact. I have it in moderation on the computer. So when you submit your Flipgrid, it should tell you that you submit, but you will not actually see it because it's hidden from everybody else. All right, I hope this helps. If you have any questions, remember I'm available every day in the collaborative room, which the link is on the top of Blackboard. Have a great day. Okay, so that's how you're going to submit your Flipgrid, and then the very last part of the test that you're going to have is taking pictures of all your work, including the Flipgrid work, and you are going to submit that in the you're going to submit that in that bottom tab, the assignment tab. If you are having problems with that and for some reason it's not submitting, and it'll only give you one chance to submit. If for some reason you can't get that work to submit correctly through this tab, just go ahead and email it to me. All this has to be done by 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday, the 22nd. Just everyone should know by this point that I open it at the beginning of a gold day and I close it at the end of a blue day. So just because you're a blue day kid does not mean you can't start on that gold day. I mean, anyone can start on the 21st. Everyone has till the 22nd to finish. So just to be clear on that. The one last question we had was about grading. I'm changing the way I graded the Delta Math. Just I think it'll make it a little bit more fairer and easier for kids to understand. So this, I just took a screenshot of someone's grade from the first test. If you look at this, this person got a 73.7% because even though eventually they got every single question correct, and the computer says that they have 100 because they got every single skill correct, they took several attempts to get some of the questions correct. So what I'm going to do this time is each one is worth 3 points. So on a question like this where you get it right the first time, you're going to get 3 points for that question. If you have a question where you miss it once and then you get it correct, so you only have 1 X, you take one attempt, you don't get it correct, you take it again, you figure out what you did, I'm going to give you 2 points for that one. And then one like this where you have more than one attempt, more than 2 attempts, I guess I should say, more than 1 wrong, you're going to get 1 point for that. Eventually, everyone should have a green check saying that they got it correct. If you're not getting that green check, if you keep on doing this problem over and over again, this is where you should reach out and either meet me in the collaborative room between 11 and 1, or you should send me an email. Remember, I will definitely get back to you if you email me between 8 and 3 p.m. daily, but if you email me after 3, depending on what I have going on in my home life, I don't know that I'll be able to get back to you. So try and definitely do this before 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I know that means some of you have to get up and set your alarms, but that's what you got to do. So that's how I'm going to score it. So this part of the assignment will be 51 points. The Flipgrid is 10, and the homework is 10. So that's 70 points, but I'm going to scale it to 50. Well, 71 points. I'm going to scale it to 50. So if you have any questions, email me or meet me in the collaborative room, and I hope this helps. Good luck.